Hello everyone and welcome to the penultimate episode of the 2022 Engen Pitch Polish competition. Tonight we'll be finding out which of the two semi-finalists will be going through to the final, so don't go anywhere. Here's a quick reminder of the competition standings. Last week, our last red group contestant, Lakim Nigati, and our last green group contestant, Pale Samutaung, delivered the semi-final pitches to our judging panel. Tonight, we'll be watching the pitches of our last blue group contestant, Luvo Kukwana, and yellow group contestant, Victor Sables. Before we join Luvo in the pitching arena, the Engen Pitch Polish crew recently visited him at his business. Let's take a look.
People are always surprised how do I grow crops from rocks. So this is aquaponics project. It's very different from the traditional forms of farming. It's not about soil. It's about our rocks as a grow media and the fish waste as the fertilizer. The strangest thing is that now I'm pitching for R1 million and to expand my aquaponics farm. And for someone who really hated agriculture, I find that really funny. Every time before harvest, we always have orders and we always sold out. Now you can imagine that potential. With this R1 million, I'm seeing 10 of these greenhouse tunnels fully flagged with tomatoes so that I can supply everyone around the area. In that way, we're able to supply the demand. But also what's more meaningful for me is to see the level of impact that are we able to achieve from this system, which is through creating jobs for people. I'm from rural communities, and to have a story that can lead me back to where I come from, the impact that I always envisage in terms of uplifting our communities, but starting with myself first. So is the thing, when I speak about aquaponics, no one knows what I'm really talking about. So let me show you. What makes aquaponics and any other ways of farming different is that here in aquaponics, we use our fish waste as plant fertilizer. Your fish makes a poo and then goes straight to your plants as fertilizer. And in return, the oxygenated water that comes back from the plants, it goes back to the fish, providing a really good fish environment that is rich with oxygen. And there are two benefits of this system. We actually sell the produce, and then also when our fish get to the market size, we sell them to the market. Okay, that was step one of the process. Let me show you step number two. Okay, this is step two of the process. This is the hydroponics tunnel. This is where the nutrient-rich water from the fish comes in. So it actually goes to these two end tanks. These act as both mechanical and biofilters. And the water from these two tanks, it actually comes to our water holding tanks that pumps water to the plants, and then retain the water that has been absorbed and purified by the plants, which is oxygen rich. It comes back to our holding tank that actually pumps back the water back to the fish. So this water might look dirty now, but let me show you how clean it is. Okay, here's a secret how you can grow crops on just rocks. It's the water. See how crystal clear it is and how nutrient rich it is. Oh, definitely I'm not going to drink that, but I'm sure my tomatoes will enjoy it. Well, thank you for joining us in our aquaponics farm. I'm proud and pleased to be the semi-finalist, and I can't really wait to show what I have for the judges. Thank you.
And here's Luvo heading in to make what could be his final pitch in the competition. Good luck, Luvo.
Hello, Luvo.
Hello, judges.
I must say, I always look forward to seeing what you're going to wear on the way down. I don't know if it's a ramp, a fashion ramp, or a pitching ramp, but you're definitely the fashionista of this year's Engen Pitch Polish.
Oh, thank you for the compliment.
So you understand it's 2 minutes today?
Yes.
You understand that this is the semi-final and two of you are going to go home? You
Yes,
do? and you understand that we understand more about your business because you submitted all your financials, your documents, and your proposal on how you're going to use the 650,000 Rand should you win.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay. Luvo, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pitch and polish.
Agriculture is an indispensable livelihood for many South Africans. That's for both income and food security. However, the context becomes different when the piece of land they only rely on becomes too dry and depleted. This is further exacerbated by frequency of bad weather conditions such as drought and climate change. To us, the question was, what's the solution? Well, judges, my name is Luvo Kugwana. I'm the founder of Greenac Innovations. We design, set up, and franchise aquaponic systems as an alternative to traditional farming methods. Well, while I was president of a global entrepreneurship club at university, we piloted our first aquaponics project. And the research and development for that project was sponsored by Nedbank. Today, I'm proud to say that it's 4 years later, we have turned the 20,000 rands that Nedbank gave us into a 3 million business in only just less than 4 months. Using our core efficiency, we're able to design a profitable franchising model. Through which this model, we have 3 revenue streams, which is one by setting up these aquaponic systems, and furthermore by supplying the production inputs into the franchises as well as selling the produce to the market. So through this model, we are able to aggregate produce and sell to the market. So we are currently operating 3 franchise systems that are distributed across KZN, which they have accumulated a revenue of 3 million from the last financial year. So we want to upscale from 3 to 5 systems. This is done to create competitive barriers for our competitors, and we want to upscale this project through directing the funds from the prize money, utilizing 120,000 rands from the prize money to IoT systems that will help us to monetize our systems. And furthermore, 225,000 of that will be directed to developing our pack house, and 250 of that will be invested.
Can you finish the sentence?
They'll be invested in designing our franchise unit system.
Thank you. Pulela.
Thank you, Luvo. Talk to us about sustainability. Having gone through your documents, I see the sustainability development goals are a body of work that inspires your business. Talk to us about which one specifically you draw from.
The first goal is which is zero hunger, and 1, no poverty, and well-being. So these are the key sustainable goals that are addressed through this project. By franchising these aquaponic systems, we are valuing fresh organic produce to the people, and also we creating a sustainable environment because these systems are an alternative to unsustainable farming methods.
Great, thank you.
So I've got a couple of, I guess, financial related questions. So, and well done, by the way. I think it's been great seeing you come through the process. Now at the 3rd round, we've got this deeper insight into your business. I can see a nice and great sort of improvement in your confidence. So well done so far. Just on the 3 million Rand that the business has generated, what is the level of profitability associated with that 3 million?
Okay, so we have a gross profit margin of 40%,
yep,
and a net profit margin of 20%.
And is that what you're realizing?
That's what we're realizing, yes.
Okay. Then the next question, because I think if I understand part of your growth, well, part of your existing model and your growth model has a dependency on franchise. And I guess as long as the franchises are sustainable and they're making ends meet financially, then I guess that contributes to your sustainability.
Absolutely.
How are they doing as franchises?
Okay, so currently our franchises are all doing well. Because part of our business model is to comprehensively train the beneficiaries or the franchisees in the day-to-day management of the system. And furthermore, we deploy people to visit these franchisees every 3 days within a week. So to ensure sustainability and take database in terms of the performance of each franchise.
Okay. I got so I think you were pretty clear. The immediate objective or vision is to get from 3 to 5. I'm more interested in seeing, now that we understand sort of more how the business is performing today, what is your big vision for your business in 5 years from now? What are you seeing as being your status quo in 5 years?
Yes, in 5 years we really want to build more franchises. So take it from one. I want to at least have 20 franchises in the next 5 years. In doing so, it will enable us to be the biggest producers of fish through this franchise model, and also we have a huge market share in the fresh produce market and the fish market as well. So and through that, we're creating capacity building, because through these franchises, it means we're creating not only us making us profitable, but creating more businesses for people as well.
Thanks, Luva.
So Luva, I also heard 5, and with the other judges, I heard you say 50, so it is 50 that you want to...
Yes, it's 50, yes.
Okay. Just talk to me about the demand side for the fish, because, you know, who buys it? Is it direct to the market, or is it through retailers?
So currently, tilapia, we're doing tilapia and catfish, but one of our priorities now is tilapia. So in South Africa, tilapia is retailed in Pick n Pay, it's retailed in Spy as well. So we want to tap into the Woolies market as well. So we're currently in negotiation with Woolworths in terms of supplying them with our tilapia fish, and we just sent them samples. We're still waiting for their reviews. So there's a huge market on the retail side of the market, as well as there's another market for our fingerlings, which are the crocodile farms that we're supplying in the South Coast and KZN, as well as to the end user, which are the consumers of the fish. So it allows us to spread our wings in terms of profitability, because we can supply to the retails and supply directly to the end user, which is the people who consume in other businesses as well.
So just explain to me a little bit more detail. So have you got an offtake agreement with the franchisees, and you the intermediary into the retailers? Yes,
we do have an uptake agreement. It's part of the agreement when the franchisees uptake our franchise system.
And who governs the price?
So we govern the price because we are a huge market player. We know because we engage with the market itself, so we know the price points in terms of the fresh produce markets as well as the fish market side.
Okay, and is all in the 3 franchises that you've got right now, franchisees, is all the offtake being consumed as we speak right now?
Yeah,
every single fish that is produced is being sold?
So every fish that is being produced is being sold, yes.
All right, you had very few questions. Surely you've got another one.
Luva, thank you for the way you've shown up today and consistently throughout the competition. My final question for you is, what does success look like? If you were successful here, what does it mean for you, for the people that you are standing here representing?
I think it would see us being able to replicate these systems across KZN. And I think for me, the biggest success goal is to go back home in Eastern Cape, where I'm born, to improve the situation there, using the same model that I've adopted and using KZN. And I think having to show tenacity in the past 3 years, because I've declined few job offers because I want to pursue this dream of not only improving my life, but improving those of the people that improving the standard of living of communities where we're coming from. And I think that for me will be success, but most importantly, I'm an entrepreneur. In doing that, we have to be profitable. We're in this business to make money, on top of that to empower people as well.
Thank you.
With that brilliant answer, I'm going to let you go.
Thank you.
Sure, what a great question.
Wasn't it just?
That was an impressive answer as well. Huh?
He's been consistent. There's not much I'll say beyond that, but truly impressed, and I think that's what I've said each time he stood here.
In fact, I think he was even better today with the 2 minutes.
I mean, from my point of view, so I mean, like in the first pitch, I thought I was clear that he was strong, but it's clearer to me now how strong he is. I think he's got stronger and stronger. There's a couple of things I think that stand out for me. One is how well he understands what he's doing and how the model works. I'm impressed that he's engaging with people like Woolworths in order to, further the business. The one thing that perhaps impresses me the most, though, is what I'm perceiving as his level of commitment towards what he's doing. It actually feels, relative to what we've seen, almost unsurpassed. And that final answer, I think, just solidified it for me even further.
Let's go score.
I think that went pretty well, although since it's the semi-finals, the judges aren't giving anyone an easy ride. To know what Luvo's race cop mentor thought of tonight's pitch, visit the Engen Pitch and Polish YouTube channel to watch my conversation with them there. But only do that after tonight's episode because you definitely do not want to miss our viewer competition. Tonight, we're giving away an Evo Super Shop voucher worth 5,000 Rand, courtesy of Nedbank. The Evo Super Shop allows you to shop anything from home living, takeaways, groceries, prepaids and more, no matter who you bank with. But you can't win if you don't enter. So make sure you go to the Engen Pitch and Polish Facebook page before midnight to post your answer to the question on the screen now. Luvo has 3 revenue streams: production inputs, fresh produce, and what is the third? Luvo has 3 revenue streams: production inputs, fresh produce, and what is the third? As always, the winner will be announced on Facebook before 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. It's almost time for the last pitch in the semi-final round. But before we take a look at Victor's pitch, let's first visit him and his business in Cape Town.
When I started with this business, I was a little bit confused and it wasn't quite very clear to me what I was trying to do. I knew that I wanted to make product. I loved the idea of making product. And I think I evolved the products based on my particular health problems, which is I'm type 2 diabetic. And I was looking at tasty products and I kept going into the stores, finding products that were not tasting great. They're geared at diabetics, but they're not good. And I decided, well, this is not going to work for me. I've got the facility. I certainly can focus on making healthy products that taste great. The emails we get from customers, the emails we get just complimenting us on the great taste and the health benefits that they get out of the product. It's amazing. When we see that happen, it's like I get blown away because I don't even know these people. And I'm not expecting this kind of response for what I'm doing. I don't take to praise very well. So when people say, oh, well done, I tend to wipe it off because it's just what I'm doing. I'm not trying to do it because I want it to look good. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. So in the manufacturing process that we have right now and in our factory, our biggest constraint at the moment are the ovens. We can employ lots of people, but we won't be able to bake any faster than our ovens can bake. So if we're putting a product in the oven for 30 minutes, the bigger the oven, it still takes 30 minutes. The smaller the oven, it still takes 30 minutes. And that's one of our key drivers at the moment, is to increase our capacity by improving our equipment, getting bigger ovens that can deliver more product, because the demand is there and we need to keep pace with it. So at the moment, our biggest constraints are our ovens. But instead of talking about it, come and take a look. Yeah, so in any food factory, and especially ours, when you come into the factory, the first thing you've got to do is wash your hands. You're not allowed to get into the factory without washing your hands. So everybody that enters, first thing you've got to do, wash your hands, make sure that they're nice and clean, sanitize, and once you've done that, only then can you actually enter the premises. Yeah, so we've got a perfectly good kitchen, as you can see. We can produce anything that's required from our customers. The kitchen's pretty well laid out. I've got good staff working for me at the moment, and I'm very happy with our setup right now, but I think we can do better. And one of the things we need to improve on are our ovens. They've got 4 decks in them at the moment, and I've got 1, 2, 3. So with one 10-deck oven, I could replace 2 of these, and I can get the same cooking time, baking time out of it as what I do with a big one. And this is what I'm really looking for. One of these units, they're absolutely fantastic. They've got 10 decks in them, which means that we're baking more than double what one of these can do with one of these. And so this is what I'm looking to replace. I need 5 to 6 more of these units, and we can really start taking over South Africa with our production. You've seen the ovens, you've seen our constraints at the moment. And yeah, if we can improve that, can you imagine where we can go to? I think the business has got endless potential. We could turn this into a massive enterprise, and we could be servicing the whole of South Africa, if not the whole of Africa, with our products. We've got at the moment 7 people working, but we could get 14, we could get 20, it could go to 50, it could go to 100. I really believe that we've got the ability to take this a lot further than what it is right now. And yeah, that's my goal, that's my dream, is I want to get it that big. I want to have 150 employees, I want to have 2,000 square meters of factory space. It needs to be absolutely great. I really believe that it can be done. We've been through the first round, I've been through the second round, I'm now heading into the third round, but the finals are what I'm after. I'm really gunning to get to the finals right now.
Victor is heading in to face the judges. Good luck in there, Victor.
Hi there, Victor.
Hi, welcome everybody.
Every time you step under that light, I check down to see if you're wearing those Crocs again.
Yeah, no, I've made a point of making sure I leave them at home or in the hotel room.
So, Victor, you understand there's 2 minutes this time to pitch?
Yeah.
And you understand that this is the semi-finals and that 2 out of 4 of you will be going home.
Mm-hmm.
And you understand that all of us have looked through your submissions, your financials, your projections, etc. And so we're better informed about the business as well.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to be a help.
Okay. All right, Victor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pitch and polish.
Welcome, judges. My name is Victor Sables. I'm the owner of Kathy's Kitchen, and we manufacture a variety of snacks geared at healthy people who want to live a healthy lifestyle, specifically at diabetics and reducing the sugar content in our products. There is no sugar in our products. So if I were to win this money, the idea I have is to buy equipment, work on my compliance, and a marketing strategy going forward. I've got a 10-step plan for this business, and my intention is in the next 10 years to grow this to 120 million rand a year. I know it sounds like a big number, but I've got 10 steps worked out, and I'm pretty confident we can achieve it with the steps we've got now. We're on step 2 of our 10-step plan. We've doubled our turnover from last year. We've had an exceptionally good input towards the middle of this month now. We've picked up 15 spas at one go with a new rep. We've got 2 people in Joburg that are keen to get our product that contacted us as a start. So we're really looking at growing the business going forward. We expect to expand in 2023 to about 700 stores. And if we accomplish that, our turnover will go to about 2 million rand a month. In 2024, we want to get to 860 stores, and we should be hitting about 3. Our lease expires in September of 2024, and we will be moving to a new building. So my intention is to build up cash flow from now until then to buy or otherwise put up our own building, because we need it custom designed based on where I'm going with the business right now. In the next couple of weeks, we should be ready to start marketing into Joburg, but we are concerned that we don't have the compliance, and there's nothing we can do to shorten the length of time that it's going to take us to become compliant. We need 6 months records to be built up. So we're doing everything right, except we don't have the paperwork right now.
Great, Victor. Let's start with you, Alan.
Yeah, Victor, I mean, I think what we've got to learn about you, obviously, through the 3 pitches, and I guess outside of the pitches, is that you are a successful business person.
Thank you.
With a good track record in business. I guess for me, and I have no doubts that you will follow your 10-point plan and you will turn this into 120 million rand a year company. My question is, and it may be a slightly contentious one, is winning or not winning this competition? Or let's say, for instance, you didn't win this competition. How is that going to affect your 10-point plan?
Yeah, so when I came here first, I was asking for funding for 4 ovens. But I've got a plan, and my plan has got timelines, and it's got certain little pebbles I've got to step onto to cross this river. And one of those pebbles came. I've bought 2 ovens already. So to answer your question, win or don't win this competition, I'm carrying on.
I've got no doubt you will. I really don't. And maybe just in terms of your plan, so, because I guess one of the things we think about, or certainly I do, is just around, you become 120 million rand a year business, which would be great because you're not now, and that creates scale and all types of opportunities. I mean, from a sustainability point of view and from a sort of maybe employment point of view, how does that play into your 120 million rand a year company? How many people you likely to be employing at that stage?
So based on the current plan that I've got right now, we're going to be a staff of about 86 people. We'll be highly mechanized. I've sourced the machine in the UK, then found out it was being made in China, went to China, didn't physically go there. I had a Zoom call with the guy that produces the machine. He then said to me he's got a whole range of machines, sent me a catalog. So we'll be highly mechanized, 86 people. We'll have delivery vehicles, a receiving bay. We'll be working directly with the farmers for our product. And our marketing is not intended to stay in South Africa. We want to go to Canada. We want to go to the US. We want to go to the UK. We want to go to Australia. So 86 people in South Africa. I don't know from there how big I'm going to get.
Great. That's all for me. I did taste your product when you left us last time, and it's delicious. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Furela.
Thanks, Victor. As Eleanor said, you seem to be quite a seasoned businessman, entrepreneur. What, if any, are the lessons that you've taken away as value add from this program?
Pay attention to the detail. And I think I've learned that there are different types of entrepreneurs, and my way is not the only way.
Elaborate. You're speaking in a roundabout way, and I'm not following. Are you talking about your fellow contestants? Or are you talking about your Engen Pitch and Polish mentors? What are you talking about?
Yeah, so I'm on TV, so it's difficult for me to answer that question without hurting someone. And so I'm struggling to answer you because, yeah, that person's not here and I can't put them, but I can say to you that it's been in conversation with people around me. And yeah, I don't come from a background where if something isn't red, don't say that it's red. I can't do that. I don't work with people like that. So I tend to find myself latching on to people who are of the same mindset, who have the same maturity about what they do, who understand that what is happening here. It's not a game. It's real.
Thank you, Victor. And as far as your brand itself, it sounds from the figures and the plans you've shared that you do have quite a tightly thought through plan on the number side. From the heart of the business side, what does that look like? What should a customer know of the heart and the why of this business?
So the one thing that I want to do, and that I think will be one of my measures for my success, will be that people will say, Kathy's Kitchen, healthy products. And I think if I accomplish that, besides the fact that everybody likes to make money, but I think if I can do that, because I'm of the opinion that we see problems, but we don't tend to think, well, let's solve it in the long term and let's do preventative maintenance at the same time. So I've come up with this idea in my head and in my heart that if I can get people to start eating the stuff, they're going to like it, which means they're not going to grab the bad chocolate. So I'm preventing them from becoming diabetic. And at the same time, diabetic people have got a nice snack that they actually can enjoy. So for me, that is it's key to the success of what we do.
Victor, I agree with what's been said so far in terms of you're a seasoned businessman, and I'd go as far as to say a great businessman. I think just given what we've seen and in the conversations and the dinner conversation, you know what you're doing. The one thing that hasn't come through right through the competition is the competition, in the sense of the competition to you in the market. Because for me, in my mind, if I've got means, if I'm one of the big brands and I see a market gap in terms of this niche in the market, I'll just put my factories onto that. I'll create a wholesome brand and I will compete against you. And, you know, as my mentor once said, you know, don't feel so special, because if you can do it, you know, there's 10,000 other people that can do it. So how are you going to defend? I haven't felt that you're building a 120 million rand business. How are you going to defend it all the way along?
I will agree with you 100%. Competition cannot be eliminated. It's going to come, and I know that it's coming. So one of the things that keeps me believing that we will be successful, even if someone comes and challenges us, is that I get emails, which it's nice to receive from customers, and then I even get people calling me and coming to the factory, which I've had. A woman come and say to me, her husband went cycling with a friend. The friend had one of my bars, gave a piece to the husband. He tried it. She thought it came from one of the competitors, Woolworths. Bought it at Woolworths, bought him a pack of 12. He tasted it and said to her, no, this is not what I want. And then she tracked down the factory and came to me. And that groundswell of support and that authentic, this is who we are, I'm hoping that it comes through in my brand, because it's what I'm about. And if I can keep that, people are going to, I think, go, let's go with this one between the two. And I can't stop it. How I'm going to defend it will depend on the situation. But I don't have a direct answer to say to you, I'm going to do X, Y, or Z.
Great. Victor, thanks for your presentation. You may leave.
Thank you.
All right. What are your thoughts, Banana?
Yeah, he doesn't need the money. And I'm glad to see that the things he's taking away as value add from the competition. I think the Victor we're seeing now compared to the Victor we first saw is someone who has grown. He seems more humble. He seems more open to listen and learn. The guy who arrived on the first day wasn't that. So if nothing else, I'm glad that he'll walk away with that.
What did you make of the comment that I was trying to get him to elaborate on?
I think he handled it the best way he could, considering the environment. He would be doomed if he does or doomed if he doesn't. So I think he skirted around it elegantly, and glad that he didn't go any further.
What do you think?
I think the Victor we're seeing today versus the Victor we've seen day one is actually the same person, but someone who, because I think he's always known what he's known. I think he knows what he knows, and I think that's always been the case with Victor. I just think we're seeing him opening up more and maybe having a greater appreciation for this process than perhaps was the case during the very first session. I personally feel that he's probably got one of the most attractive businesses that we have seen in this year's process. And I think when it comes to us deliberating on, who makes it through, we're going to be challenged, because we're going to have to just reflect, I think, on the purpose of what the Engen Pitch and Polish is, just make sure that we remain as true to the purpose of this process as best we can, because he's got a very attractive business, which, by his own admission, I think will continue on its journey, irrespective of whether he comes out on top of this process or not.
Yeah. In terms of the elaboration, I just think he doesn't understand what we know too, because I think there is a lot of insight that we have from the financials and the incongruence of what we hearing in front of us versus what we are actually seeing in terms of the financials, and I don't think he's party to the fact that we are also exposed to this big dissonance in what's presenting and what we know.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Great, let's go.
That was another strong, confident pitch from Victor. You can watch my discussion with his Race Corp business mentor on our YouTube channel. We've now seen all 4 semi-final pitches, so let's touch base with the judges before they head into deliberations to find out their overall impressions of this round. Hello, judges. I'm so glad I'm not one of the contestants, so I don't have to be hit hard like you did this round. What would you say differentiated this semi-final from the first 2 rounds that these 4 guys pitched, Alan?
So the very nature of this process is that you go from 16 to 4. And so what you've got in front of you were the top 4 people pitching from the 16. So you're expecting them all to compete quite heavily and for the process to be quite tight. And for me, the process was very tight amongst 3. So I felt from my perspective there was two easy decisions and one very difficult decision, which really had me reflecting around, you know, the purpose behind this process, which ultimately is what sort of influenced me to sort of vote the way I did with my colleagues.
If they got this far, Bulela, it means they're very good, the four of them. What would then separate them?
For me, the point of difference would definitely sit not just in the financials, but in the why that they are going through this whole process. If they're just doing it for the numbers and profitability, I think that might be something that wanes in the future. But if it's driven by personal truth or personal need, I think that always is going to make someone shine stronger than someone who's just doing it for the money.
Yet the financials mattered, Alon. I felt there was a bit of blood on the floor today, people having to answer the figures, the rands and cents.
Yeah, so in my thinking always is I sit here in my head, I sit here as the investor. I take on the investor role and ask myself who I would invest in if I had to invest at 650,000 Rand. And there's, you know, some are very clear I would never invest in them. And then the others would be, where would I get a better return to the longevity? You know, how long will that person produce that return? And could I work with that individual? Those were the three things that I'd look at. But just to answer you directly, the financials were mostly, in 3 out of 4, were mostly weak. They were weak.
So, who was weak? You're not going to tell me as usual. But do you think they did fairly better than how they did in the previous rounds?
Absolutely.
All of them?
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them.
They were worthy semi-finalists?
Worthy, all of them. And all of them improved.
While our judges deliberate, I must tell you that their decision will not only be based on the pitches you've seen. All 4 contestants also had to submit packs with financials and other supporting documents. The judges spent several hours scrutinizing these documents before the pitches. I can tell you that these submissions will carry a lot of weight in their final decision tonight. But I'm not going to keep you in suspense any longer. Let's join our 4 semi-finalists to find out their fate.
Welcome, contestants. How are you feeling?
Nervous.
Nervous. This is always, I think, the worst part for the judges and for the contestants. Here we're both feeling that nerves and that pain. So let's start with you, Luvo. Let's talk about your pitch. I felt that your pitch was over-rehearsed. In fact, even though I think the content was much stronger this time, you stumbled quite a lot during this pitch, which was quite disappointing. I think we lost your personality. I think we felt your personality in previous pitches a lot more than this time. When it came to the demand side, you know, investors are always looking for, you know, is there demand for the product? We had to pull that out of you. We almost helped you by saying, so, you know, are all the fish being sold? And you go, yeah, they're all being sold. That should have been in the pitch. That was missed in the pitch. And then I think what's come across in today and in the previous pitches is that there's quite a rigid mindset around the franchise. I think there were a lot of clues throughout this contest to say to you, look at other models as well, open your mind to other models. And I didn't feel that your mind was open to other models. It didn't come through in the pitch today. But on the positive side, that you spoke incredibly well to the 650,000. Of all the contestants, you were the one that spoke to it the most precisely and the most clearly. I understood what you were going to do with our money. And then I think the Bulela question was fantastically answered in terms of your why. Like that to me was an incredibly well answered question. And I believed it, and the three of us all believed that it was not rehearsed, that came from the heart. Luvo, you'll be staying. Palesa, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay.
Okay, cool. All right. What I really enjoyed about your pitch today was it was a different pitch. You tried to change the pitch. You listened to the brief very well. And I think there were some very tough questions thrown at you. And you handled those questions incredibly well. You kept your cool incredibly well and answered incredibly smartly. I thought you were very, very, very strategic in how you answered those questions. And that makes me believe that as an entrepreneur, you are strategic. You're a strategic thinker, and you know, business is definitely the right choice for you. On the negative side, the financials were all over the place. I think even though you could explain the financials when we sat with you, going through the financials, it wasn't laid out in a way that made it easy to understand as an investor, for us to understand what the business did. Because the way that investors read income statements and balance sheets is like other people reading books. So it tells a story, and yours wasn't telling a story. So you really let yourself down in terms of the financials. And the sustainability of your business, although you answered the questions around sustainability quite convincingly, I think there were still a lot of questions amongst the judges as to the real sustainability behind the business. Palesa, you'll be going home.
Thank you.
Thanks for being part of this wonderful journey.
Thank you.
All right. So now it's Victor and Lucky. Okay. Victor, are you going to be victorious? Lucky, are you going to be lucky? Which one of you is going to go home? So I have to start off by saying that in the marks between the two of you, there's a 3% differential. And we spent the predominant amount of our time debating between the two of you. Is Lucky going home? Is Victor going home? Which one of you two is going home? So let me start with you, Victor. I'm going to start with the negative. Your 10-point plan, I thought, was quite clever. It was quite compelling. You said you were at number 2. It would be good to explain to us what number 3 was, so that you took us on that journey. And I think that you missed that opportunity. And I also got the sense that you had, you know, I find you very, I'm not going to say old-fashioned in a negative way, because I'm equally old-fashioned, but in terms of the values, your values and your understanding of business. But I felt like this time you almost, when you were saying that you'd worked out that other people were doing things differently, that you also almost sold a bit of your soul today in your pitch, that you sort of succumbed to it, which was, and I've watched how you've held, and today you wavered a little bit. And what was missing for me is the 650. Although you spoke about in very high, broad terms about the 650, I wanted to know what the 650 would do for you now, because I think all of us agree that the 650 is neither here nor there for you in your business, that you're going to succeed anyway. You are very, very a good businessman. No one will argue with that. I thought on the positive side, you had a great pitch. I thought your pitch was really, really, really good. It was a different pitch. You also listened to that. You had evolved your pitch and you had learned, and your numbers were really, really strong. Let's go to you, Lucky, who will start off with your financials. His was strong. Yours need a lot of work. They weren't weak. They weren't the weakest, but they still need a lot of work in terms of your financials. I felt that you could have, you know, at the beginning of this show, you spoke about around the 40% churn in your in terms of your client base. And now, you know, you're being paid directly by the universities. I think you missed the opportunity to close that gap in our mind as to, you didn't mention that we had to pull that out of you. You didn't talk about, I used to go there, now I've done that. So you're showing how you're learning and evolving as an entrepreneur, and you're learning from the process. You missed that opportunity, I think. And talking about opportunity, my sense is that you're an opportunist, and like you saw the gap and you went for it, and it's not a negative, there's no negative in that. But what happens when you're an opportunist is that there's no authority in that space. So what was missing for me from a gravitas point of view in your pitch is that I understand property. I understand the property game. I understand the numbers. I understand that in order to set up an 8.8 square meter room, that the costs have to be at X percent or X rand per square meter. That didn't come through. I think you have it, but you didn't push that through, that it was strong enough that you understood the numbers in the pitch. Because as an investor, remember, I want to get my money back, and I want to know you know your money. On the positive side, I think that the COVID answer, the question that Adam threw at the COVID answer, I thought you answered that brilliantly, that you said COVID, you know, worked in your favor. And from a relationship point of view, you kept talking about relationships, and successful entrepreneurs understand the power of relationships, and that came across. And then the other big positive there was that you understand risk, and you keep mitigating the risk the whole time. So who's it going to be? Is Victor going to be victorious, or is Lucky going to be lucky? Which one of you is going to go home? The person who's going to go home today is Victor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Victor.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Victor.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Victor.
Right, gentlemen, so you've made it through to the finals. But remember, there is 650 plus the 350. So there's R1 million prize for the winner. There's 100,000 Rand cash for the number 2 and 50,000 Rand for number 3. You could go from R1 million today to 50,000 Rand today, because you two have got a wild card to contend with. Let's take a look and see who that is.
I'm Sibusiso Twala. I'm the business of 2Slide. I focus on our expansion and what we do next. My business partner, Tabani Ndedwaba, he's the art. He focuses on the food, the recipes, making sure that the product comes out perfect every single time. The dream was always to make money. We started 2Slide at a point where we had just come out of varsity, and the next natural stage was go get a job. And we knew we didn't want to do that. We wanted to make money on our own terms, you know, the way we wanted to do it. And so 2Slide was born. We scraped together a couple of friends and the funds that we could find, and we started in a back room of a garage in Soweto. Fast forward 5 years later, and now we're in the heart of Sandton. We've turned a traditionally kasi food, which was made to make you full, and now it's luxurious. We made it gourmet. We've given it, you know, ingredients that are upper to make it better. With the million, we'll have 3 more, and we'll have another 3 and another 3, and the sky's the limit after that. So I'm going to hand you over to Tabi to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how 2Slide is born.
Hi, I'm Tabi. Come on in. So this is the 2Slide kitchen, where all the magic happens. We've come a really long way from a garage door kitchen to opening our 3rd kitchen in Sandton, a professional kitchen, where we take a loaf of bread and turn it into a perfectly delicious and juicy 2Slide kota. We know that if we win this money, that we can escalate and go as far as taking it all across the country. So see you in the final, and cheers.
So Tabani, Sibusiso, are you guys going to win?
Fellow contestants, I mean, we come straight from the kitchen, we're hands-on, and there's no question about it. We're winning it.
You feel the same way?
Definitely. We're taking it home.
So, Lucky, Luva, you've got some competition on your hands. We can go from that R1,000,000 right down to 50,000 in one round. All of you, I think it's time for you to leave and go practice, go get ready, go learn, go watch the old episodes, and make sure that you are ready for the fun. You may all leave.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations to Lucky and Luvo, who have made it through to the 2022 Engen Pitch and Polish final. Well done to both of them for seeing off incredibly strong competition. And I am sorry to be saying goodbye to Victor and Palesa, but making it through to the top 4 is a real achievement all on its own. We may have lost 2 contestants, but we've picked up 2 more as our wild cards. And based on that introduction, I'd say that Lucky and Luvo are going to be facing some serious competition from Sibusiso and Tabani. I'm really excited for next week's final. Who is going to walk away with that first prize worth R1,000,000? It's anybody's guess at this stage. Make sure you join me again next Tuesday at 7 o'clock for the grand finale of the 2022 Engen Pitch and Polish competition. From me, Rems Mabote, good night and God bless.